in a time when everyone seems to be searching for the next big secret to wealth. Whether it's through investments, business schemes, or viral trends, there lies an ancient, forgotten method that defies logic. Imagine for a moment, you could attract money, opportunities, and success with nothing more than a simple wash of your hands. Sounds too good to be true, right? But what if I told you that a humble monk, high in the Himalayan mountains, discovered just such a method? And what if I told you that the secret could change your life and your bank account within just 24 hours? Stay with me, because what I'm about to share is not just another get-rich-quick scam. It's a story rooted in ancient wisdom. And it all begins with a mysterious golden liquid and one man's pure intentions. Before we dive deeper into this incredible story, if you're curious to learn this ancient technique and ready to attract prosperity into your own life, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon so you won't miss any future life-changing content. And make sure to stay till the end, because the final part of this story reveals the secret behind why this simple ritual works, and how you can start using it today to bring wealth and opportunity into your life. Share this video with friends and family. You never know who might need to hear this message. Let's spread the wisdom and watch how abundance flows when we share it with others. Ready to unlock your fortune? Let's begin. Years ago, nestled high among snowy peaks, there was a small, peaceful monastery. The monks there lived simple lives, spending their days in prayer, meditation, and serving the nearby villagers with whatever wisdom and kindness they could offer. The monastery was a place of tranquility, far from the noise of the world, and the monks found happiness in their simple routines. They grew their own vegetables in a small garden, relying on the generosity of passing travelers and donations from the villagers to make up for what they couldn't produce themselves. Life, though modest, was content. However, life in the mountains could be harsh, and one winter, it became even worse than usual. A brutal cold swept through the region, blanketing the entire landscape in thick snow. The gardens that had once provided the monks with food were buried under ice, and nothing could grow. The narrow, winding paths leading from the village to the monastery became blocked by snow, making it impossible for villagers or travelers to reach them. With the roads cut off, the donations that had once trickled in stopped altogether. The storeroom, which held their supplies, began to empty. Days turned into weeks, and soon the shelves were bare, save for a few grains of rice and dried herbs. As the snow piled up higher, hunger began to gnaw at the monks. Though they never complained, Suman, one of the youngest monks, noticed how the older monks moved slower and spoke less. They had always lived with very little, finding joy in prayer and meditation, but this time they were running out of everything. Their simple robes could barely shield them from the biting cold, and the firewood supply was dwindling. Suman felt a knot of worry growing in his chest. He could feel the hunger and weariness settling into the bones of his brothers, and with the winter only beginning, he feared they would not survive. Suman sat by the frozen garden, staring out at the vast expanse of snow. He had always believed that with enough prayer and patience, things would work out. But this time, it felt different. The snow seemed endless, and the world beyond the monastery walls felt farther away than ever. He spent hours trying to think of solutions, but the monastery had nothing to sell or trade, and with the snow blocking the paths, they were completely cut off. Every possibility felt impossible. All he could do was watch as the days grew colder and the monks weaker. Then, one evening, as darkness fell and the cold wind howled through the cracks in the wooden doors, a soft knock echoed through the monastery. Suman, startled by the unexpected sound, hurried to the gate. Standing there in the freezing night was an old man. wrapped in simple robes, carrying only a small satchel slung over his shoulder. His bright eyes sparkled with kindness, and despite the cold, he smiled warmly at Suman. The monks, grateful for the company, welcomed the traveler inside and offered him the last bit of soup they had, a thin broth made from water and a handful of leftover grains. After the meal, the old man sat by the small fire, warming his hands. His gaze settled on Suman, noticing the worry etched on his young face. "You seem troubled, young one," the traveler said softly. "What burdens your heart?" At first, Suman hesitated. It felt strange to speak of such worldly concerns to a stranger who seemed so peaceful. But something about the old man's presence was comforting, as though he carried wisdom far beyond what words could express. Suman finally opened up, sharing everything. "We have no food," he said quietly. "And with the snow blocking the paths, the donations have stopped. The winter will be long, and I fear we won't survive." The traveler listened patiently, nodding as Suman spoke. When the young monk finished, the old man gave a small, knowing smile. "What if I told you the healer said that wealth can come faster than you think? What if I told you that within 24 hours your needs could be met with nothing more than a simple act?" Suman blinked in disbelief. "How could that be possible?" he asked. The traveler reached into his small satchel and pulled out a delicate bottle filled with a golden liquid. The liquid shimmered in the firelight, glowing softly, as if it held the light of the sun itself. A gentle fragrance of jasmine, lotus, and sandalwood filled the air, instantly soothing Suman's anxious thoughts. "This is no ordinary liquid," the traveler explained. "It holds the power to awaken abundance. But the secret doesn't lie in the liquid itself. It lies in how you use it." Suman leaned closer, still doubtful, but curious. "What must I do?" he asked. The traveler smiled again. "All you have to do," he said, "is wash your hands with this liquid. But as you wash, focus your thoughts carefully. You must ask not just for yourself, but for the good of others. Your intention must be clear and honest, coming from a place of kindness. If you do this with a pure heart, within a day, you will see the result." Suman looked down at the glowing bottle, still unsure. "It sounds too easy," he whispered. The old man chuckled softly. "The simplest things often hold the most power," he said. "Wealth flows to those who act with kindness and purpose. When you wash your hands, you aren't just cleaning your skin. You're setting your mind and heart in alignment with abundance. The universe responds to those whose intentions are pure." That night, after the other monks had gone to bed, Suman sat by the small stream that ran through the monastery grounds. Though the water was icy, it shimmered under the moonlight, casting soft ripples. Holding the bottle carefully, Suman poured a few drops of the golden liquid into his hands. The fragrance surrounded him, filling the cold night air with warmth and peace. As he washed his hands slowly, he whispered a prayer. "I don't ask for wealth for myself," he murmured. "I only ask for enough to help my brothers, enough to keep this monastery open, enough to continue spreading peace and kindness to others." The cold water flowed over his hands as he rubbed them together, each movement filled with intention and trust. As he finished, he took a deep breath, feeling a sense of calm settle over him. Somehow he knew things would be okay. The very next morning, just as the first rays of sunlight touched the snowy peaks, an unexpected visitor arrived at the monastery gates. It was a wealthy merchant named Ravi, traveling through the area on business. Ravi explained that though he hadn't planned to stop at the monastery, he had felt a strange and powerful urge to visit. "It's hard to explain," he said with a smile. "Something just called me here." The monks welcomed him warmly, and after hearing their story, Ravi was deeply moved. Without hesitation, he made a generous donation, enough money to get the monastery through the winter. He also promised to send food and supplies regularly, so the monks would never have to worry again. Suman watched quietly as the merchant's kindness unfolded, feeling both joy and gratitude swell in his heart. In less than 24 hours, just as the traveler had promised, abundance had arrived. Not just in money, but in kindness, support, and connection. The other monks rejoiced, grateful for the unexpected blessing. But Suman knew that what had happened was more than just luck. The traveler's words echoed in his mind. The liquid awakens what is already within you. It wasn't just the liquid that had brought abundance. It was the intention behind it. Wealth, Suman realized, isn't about taking or demanding. It's about aligning your heart with kindness and trusting that what you give will come back to you. Over the following weeks, word of the miracle spread to nearby villages. People began visiting the monastery, curious to learn about the golden liquid. Some hoped it would bring them quick riches, but Suman, now wiser, always shared the truth. "The liquid isn't magic," he would say with a gentle smile. "It's a tool to help you focus your intentions. If you use it with selfish thoughts, nothing will happen. But if your heart is pure and your actions kind, the universe will respond in ways you never imagined." Some visitors listened closely, washing their hands with care and setting intentions to help others. Many returned with stories of their own blessings, unexpected job offers, new friendships, and moments of joy they hadn't experienced in years. Others, however, left disappointed. They had come seeking easy wealth, and when they didn't see instant results, they gave up, missing the deeper lesson hidden in the ritual. One day, the old traveler returned to the monastery. Suman greeted him with deep gratitude, sharing how the ritual had not only saved the monks, but also touched the lives of many others. The traveler listened quietly, a satisfied smile on his face. "You see," he said softly, "the greatest wealth isn't in gold or silver. It's in understanding that what you give to the world will always return to you." Before the traveler left, Suman asked, "What should I tell those who come here seeking only riches?" The old man's eyes sparkled with kindness. "Tell them to start by washing their hands and their hearts," he said with a wink. And with that, the traveler disappeared down the snowy path, leaving Suman with peace in his heart. From that day forward, the monks continued their simple lives, but they never lacked for anything. And whenever someone asked for the secret to wealth, Suman would smile and say, "It starts here, with a simple wash, a pure heart, and the joy of giving. Do this, and abundance will find you, faster than you can imagine." The story of the golden liquid spread far and wide, capturing the imagination of all who heard it. Many visitors traveled to the monastery, eager to learn not just about the ritual, but also about how the liquid itself was made. As curious people gathered around Suman, he explained that while the liquid played a symbolic role, the process of creating it was just as important. Every step in its preparation was meant to align the mind and heart, ensuring the person making it was fully present, grateful, and intentional. He emphasized that the ingredients alone held no magic. It was the energy and intention poured into the process that gave the liquid its true power. Suman shared the method the old traveler had taught him, making sure to stress that this was not about mixing random ingredients, but creating something meaningful. "This liquid," Suman said, "is made with care, and every step is an opportunity to set your mind toward gratitude, generosity, and kindness." The process, though simple, was meant to be meditative, helping to cultivate the very qualities that the ritual was intended to awaken. To start, you must gather the ingredients with thoughtfulness and care. Suman explained that the first ingredient was pure water, ideally from a natural source like a stream, rain, or spring. If that wasn't possible, regular clean water could be used, but it should be poured into a bowl with care, as if it were a gift. Water symbolizes clarity and flow, Suman said. It reminds us that abundance, like water, flows freely when we are open to it. The water should be cool to the touch but not too cold, inviting calmness as you begin the process. Next, essential oils were added to the water. These oils were chosen not just for their pleasant fragrance but for their symbolic meanings. A few drops of jasmine oil were used to represent clarity and vision, ensuring that the person making the liquid could focus clearly on their intentions. We cannot attract wealth if our mind is filled with confusion or greed, Suman explained. Jasmine helps clear the mind so that our desires become pure. The second essential oil was lotus, which symbolized peace and spiritual growth. The lotus flower grows in muddy waters but emerges pure and beautiful, teaching us that even in difficult circumstances, we can rise above and flourish. Lotus oil brings peace to our thoughts, Suman said, helping us remain calm as we set our intentions. Finally, a few drops of sandalwood oil were added for grounding. Sandalwood reminds us to stay rooted in gratitude, Suman explained. Even as we seek abundance, we must remain grounded in kindness and humility. As the oils were carefully dripped into the water, the person making the liquid was encouraged to take slow, deep breaths, letting the fragrances fill the air and their mind with calm. Suman then added a pinch of salt to the mixture, explaining that salt had been used for centuries to cleanse negative energy. Just as salt purifies food, it also purifies our intentions, he said. This small pinch clears away any hidden fears or doubts, making space for positive energy to flow. Stirring the salt into the water was to be done slowly, with a quiet prayer of gratitude. The final ingredient was a spoonful of honey, symbolizing sweetness and kindness. Honey reminds us that true wealth is found in the sweetness of life, in the love we share, and the kindness we offer, Suman said. As the honey mixed into the liquid, it blended smoothly, adding warmth and depth to the fragrance. This is a reminder, Suman continued, that even when we attract wealth, it should be shared generously, spreading sweetness to those around us. Once all the ingredients were in the bowl, Suman instructed the person to stir the mixture slowly and mindfully. As you stir, he explained, you must focus on your intention. Ask yourself, why do I seek abundance? What will I do with it? Whom will I help? This step was critical. The stirring was not just about mixing ingredients, but aligning the heart and mind with a purpose larger than oneself. Your thoughts shape the energy of this liquid, Suman said. If your intentions are pure, the liquid will hold that purity. When the stirring was complete, the liquid was poured carefully into a small bottle. This bottle, Suman said, is more than just a container. It is a reminder of your intentions. He encouraged the person to hold the bottle in their hands, close their eyes, and offer a silent prayer of gratitude. Thank the universe, he whispered, for the abundance that is already flowing into your life, even if you cannot see it yet. Suman explained that the liquid could be used whenever one felt disconnected from abundance or needed to realign their intentions. Use it with respect, he advised. Before you wash your hands, take a moment to quiet your mind and focus your thoughts. What are you truly asking for? And more importantly, how will you use it to help others? The ritual was never meant to be rushed. It was an invitation to slow down, reflect, and reconnect with what mattered most. As Suman finished explaining the method, he looked around at the gathered visitors. Some were still skeptical, but others seemed moved by the simplicity and beauty of the process. "This liquid," Suman said softly, "is not about magic. It's about mindfulness. When we take the time to create it with care, we remind ourselves that wealth is not just something we seek. It is something we attract by living with purpose, gratitude, and kindness." Many of the visitors tried making the liquid for themselves, following Suman's instructions. Some returned to the monastery with stories of unexpected blessings, new opportunities, restored relationships, and small but meaningful moments of joy. Others shared that just the act of making the liquid had helped them feel more centered and peaceful, even before any changes appeared in their lives. They found that by focusing on their intentions, they began to notice opportunities they had previously overlooked. However, some visitors left disappointed. They'd hoped the liquid would bring instant wealth without effort, and when that didn't happen, they dismissed the process as foolish. But Suman knew that not everyone was ready to understand the deeper lesson. "The liquid," he said, "is only as powerful as the heart that makes it." In the years that followed, the practice of making the golden liquid became a quiet tradition among those who visited the monastery. It was no longer just about attracting wealth, but about cultivating a mindset of gratitude and generosity. The liquid became a reminder that true abundance flows when we align our actions with kindness and purpose. And whenever someone asked Suman if the liquid really worked, he would smile gently and say, "It works when you believe not just in the liquid, but in yourself and the goodness you bring to the world." And so, the golden liquid continued to spread its quiet magic, not through promises of riches, but through the simple, profound truth that wealth begins in the heart.